Washington's first new governor in 12 years is wasting no time getting things done. Less than an hour after taking the oath of office, Governor Bob Ferguson signed 3 executive orders aimed at creating more housing, protecting reproductive freedom, and streamlining the permitting process.
I'm signing an executive order directing all state agencies to cut down their permit and license processing times. We'll establish quick and transparent deadlines for all agencies to meet. And if an agency does not meet its deadline, they'll refund your application fee.
To address the acute housing shortage in Washington, Governor Ferguson said we need to make it easier to build housing of all kinds.
The times call for action, and that is why I'm signing an executive order immediately following this speech, directing state agencies to review all regulations that impact housing, permitting, and construction, and identify any provision that can be streamlined, deferred, or eliminated.
And then his third executive order calls on the health department to convene a roundtable made up of health experts and policymakers to come up with strategies to boost the already strong legal protections here in Washington regarding reproductive freedom. Ferguson had already asked all state departments to cut their budgets by 6%. And in his first speech as governor, he made it clear that he is going to look for areas to trim the fat first before he considers any new taxes.
We cannot simply assume that government's role is to do everything it has always done while continuing to add new programs and responsibilities every year. That's not smart, and that's not sustainable. Rather, like any family budget, we must be vigilant in assessing existing investments to determine whether they still make sense and whether they meet our priorities during a budget crisis.
Okay, your reaction to what you heard.
When I hear new Governor Bob Ferguson talk this way, I'm going to simplify it. Ursula, saying that you're not raising right now or bringing new taxes right now, I think it's politically popular here in this area. Everybody wants to hear that.
Not with the Democrats.
I think even Democrats don't want to just be coming out of money. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't think that this is sustainable, right? Matter of fact, not that I don't think. I know it's not sustainable. I think it is a popular thing to say. Obviously, stuff like this, we all know that, yeah, you're going to try these cuts and balances and everything like that. It will lead to the state's ability, basically, to fund different services out there. Guess who benefits from the way things are set up right now in this state? Wealthy individuals benefit from what's going on, how this way the tax is set up here. There's no income tax or anything. And I'm not trying to beat that horse down all the time, but I just want to say that I'll just simplify it. I remember when I used to struggle financially. And one of the things, the hardest struggle for me is I did not know how much money I was going to make that next week. So it was harder to plan. That is the same thing that is happening in this state. If people are saying, well, gee, they need to be better about the spending. Okay. We will see on that, because I don't know when's the last time that you can look at each other right now and say, you know what? The government and their spending, you know what? It has been really good. It has been perfect the way they've been doing things.
Yeah, you're exactly right. People say that government does a horrible job with the money that they get from us as taxpayers. And so what I find so refreshing about what Governor Ferguson is saying is that he didn't say we'll never have taxes or new taxes, but he says that's not where I'm going first. And he included the wealth tax in that too. I think he will have an easier time saying, look, we've looked everywhere that we can to find cuts where we can without hurting ourselves even more. I applaud him for that. I think that's exactly what needs to happen. That's what would happen he said, like in any family, I need to ask, before I go asking for a handout or asking for more money or taking money somewhere else, I need to look at my own spending and say, where is it that I can actually cut? And there are areas where, you know what, we may be spending excessively, and why not look at that first?
I believe that. And I think that Bob Ferguson and his team, they know more than I do. And what I'll say is because I know that they know more than I do, I know they know this. It is popular. It sounds good right now to say, hey, you know what? Before we bring up any new taxes, let us look at this down the road. You know.
And
you
he's
know.
smart. Because,
I know.
Yeah.
So this is performative. This is just to talk.
I don't think so.
I'll ask you a simple question. Yes or no? Do you think that new taxes will come?
Potentially.
Ursula?
But no, I'm not joking. No, I'm not joking. We have a $12 to $14 billion.
And you think that's going to get fixed by watching the spending?
No, but I don't want it to be the first order of business. And in that, I agree with him. And you and I are just going to agree to disagree. In that, did you want him to say, you know what, this is probably going to be, we're going to have to pass a state income tax? Is that what you wanted to hear?
No, that's not what I want to hear. But see, what I'm saying is there's some of us that right now they're like, oh, did you hear that? He said he wants to first look at the spending.
Yes, which is something so refreshing because it's not something we've done.
It only sounds good, but it's not what's going to happen.
But he's already asked the departments to cut by 6%. Okay, I think you and I are just going to agree to disagree. Here's a couple other things that I liked. During his speech, the governor pointed out several bipartisan proposals, including free meals for K through 12 students. I know there's some people who say, well, why should my kids get free meals when I can afford it? You know what? Your kids don't need free meals if you can afford it. But he's making that a priority. He said K through 12 education, that's going to be a priority. Measures to address the youth mental health crisis. We talk about that almost on a daily basis. Again, bipartisan. And one of his quotes was, let's listen to one another without consideration for party so that the strongest argument prevails. That is how we do our best work. Again, I'm going to say that's refreshing to me. And so we'll see how it goes. First day, but he's already passed 3 executive orders. I would love to hear what you think. Abe?